Hello, my name is Luz Davis.
And my name is Eva Valencia. Today we're presenting the webinar for Technology Aided Instruction and Intervention, TAII. So the definition before, it used to be computer aided instruction and speech generating devices. And right now it's Technology Aided Instruction and Intervention, TAII, which it refers to instruction that uses technology, and technology is the central feature to support the student learning. And technology is defined as any electronic equipment, application, or virtual network and that intentionally maintains and improves the daily living of children with disabilities.
And these are some of the examples of technology devices. For example, the Go Talk. The student can use the Go Talk to invite another classmate to go to cafeteria. Also, the teacher can use the Go Talk to improve the reading skills of the student. For example, if the student knows how to say I, the teacher can now can promote the student to use two words in a sentence. For example, I want or I go. So those are the benefits of the Go Talk. Also, the interactive whiteboard. This one is a standalone device that the teacher can use to interact with the students, and also can be monitored and can also be controlled with a projector. And also we have the smartphone. The smartphone is a great benefit because it's small and the student can hold it in his hand and can also work with that device. The tablet is the same like the smartphone, and as long as they are connected with Wi-Fi or with a Bluetooth of a cellular network, the student can use it. And also the Proloco 2Go, these one are for the iPads, and the students can use it in different classes. For their science class, they can answer questions to the teachers. I remember I worked with the speech pathologist, and she used this program to practice the language with her students. The Teach Down, this one is very good for the students, so they can practice the social skills, they can practice their emotions. So all those devices, all this computer help the students to maintain and also to promote the learning.
So who implements the practice? The TAI is being implemented by paraprofessionals and is also by therapists, which it can be speech therapists mainly, the teachers in the general education setting, and also special educators. Parent and family members will also be part of the implementation. So when you communicate and in the IEPs, you make sure that everybody knows what the student needs for this kind of implementation, and make sure that all of them have some training.
And also, I just wanted to add to that, Eva, that with this distance learning, teachers and I think everybody were just so depending on the technology devices. We've been prompted to learn how to use all devices to use them with our students.
Yes, so keep it consistent. For the age and cognitive level disability areas of focus, so we use it with learners with autism spectrum disorder, and it's used to increase their independence and decrease reliance on others for support. So it will give them some independence to complete the task without having to have the teacher all the time in there. So there is evidence that it has helped the students from preschool 3 to 5 years on social skills, communication, school readiness skills, and cognitive and academic. For the elementary level, there is research shown that there has been benefits also with social communication, joint attention, behavior, and school readiness. For the middle school students, it has research that it has helped students with social communication, joint attention, behavior, school readiness, vocational, and academic skills. And in high school, there is also research that it has helped them in all of the skills. There is no research yet on the cognitive.
Strengths and weaknesses of the approach.
So for the first strength, is usable throughout the day in different settings. It can be in the school setting, or it can be in the family setting at home. ABA services, which is services outside of the home.
Okay, so there is flexibility within the device. The teacher can take it outside when the student is doing PE, if the student is at the cafeteria, if the student goes to speech, if the student goes to art. So there is great flexibility with these technology devices.
So they increase vocabulary acquisition, motivation, and face recognition. So what this means is that the student will increase vocabulary using different words, and make sure that you're using it for a long period of time as they are adding into their vocabulary. For the motivation, the usage motivate them, and the face recognition, they can recognize community service. What's the word, please?
Workers.
Yes.
Workers, like for example, if the teacher puts a picture of a policeman or a nurse or a teacher, so that promotes the student's recognition, because the student is going to be able to choose between all different pictures.
Perfect. It fosters communication and task completion when they work with the speech therapist, and also when they're working in the classroom with the different paraprofessionals and the teacher.
Students work at their own pace and level of understanding. Like I was saying before, if the teacher notices that the student is improving in certain goals, so the teacher can plan for the student to do more challenging tasks. And also it's the same thing for the students that work in a slower pace. The teacher can promote the student to learn at that student's pace. Pace.
Okay. Allows the student to reach on their goals, whether in behavior, social skills, communication, school readiness, joint attention, motor skills, academic, adaptive, and vocational outcomes. So it's a wide range of skills that we can implement. You just have to make sure that you know how you want to prioritize that according to their age level.
Okay, some of the weaknesses. It can be difficult to implement if the student has used that device. For example, if the student has used a tablet or an iPad, and then the teacher wants to use it to teach a skill, it's going to be very hard for the teacher to remove the student from trying to go to a video or a setting that the student prefers.
So some learners can struggle with working independently on an identified goal. For example, they may know how to play videos on YouTube, but ignore how to use a search engine to look for information. So just keep in mind that if the student is barely learning to use the device for working, keep it separate. If you have parental controls at home, let the parents know, please only use it for this function, so that the student can get used to it, and then use a different device for searching the engine, which is, it can be for YouTube or any other type of application that they get into that it can hinder their learning.
And it's easy, and that is true, because I have a student which he will have a tablet and he will take it home, but then at home he will have Spanish videos, and he didn't want to use his tablet for his goals. He just wanted to use the tablet for his videos. So that was kind of difficult for us to work with the student on the tablet. The process may take long to access the device through a school. Sometimes if the devices are broken, it takes time to repair and also to collect data collection, to staff training. Many times the teachers or the staff are not training and in how to use the devices properly. And also we don't train the parents or paraprofessionals or anybody that has contact with the student, like friends or cafeteria workers. So I think it's very important that that we have training. So that is one of the weaknesses of the technology devices.
For the analysis of the pros and cons, learners learn at their own pace, thus meaning they can have the opportunity to work independently once they are used to the device.
Calculate the next step for each student based solely on their progress. So it just all depends on the teacher and the student. And the teacher is gonna plan the skill or behavior that she would like to address with the technology device according to the student's progress and level.
Some of the devices are made of hard materials in case they are thrown out to the floor or the wall or any other hard surface. So I was also told that they get the protection, the cover, so that it cannot break so easily, but just make sure that if it breaks, you take it to the IT.
Students with limited speech have a voice with TAII. The students that have limited speech that cannot speak, so they can use the device to communicate with the peers and with the teacher or with the parents or friends.
Teacher can use their voice to record the messages on some of the devices, so it doesn't sound like a computerized voice. They can use a familiar voice in their device.
Teachers can use any language. So if the teacher can use the student's native language, and with all these translations, so the teacher can just do it in the student's language. So that is another strength or pros of the technology devices.
So for the cons is buttons on GoTalks are difficult to press, especially for the little kids that sometimes they don't have that fine motor skill yet or gross motor skills in their fingers.
And also they can be, when they are very old, it's just very hard to press it. So teachers would really need to help the student, and it's just like we're doing it for them. Also, pictures cannot be changed. It's just very hard. For example, for the, how is it called, for the GoTalks? How do you call the
layers?
overlays? The overlays, they are hard to make on Microsoft. And also, if, for example, for the GoTalk 32, if the student now he doesn't like, for example, Cheetos, and now he likes Takis or other items, and you have to do another overlay to make it accessible for the student again.
To individualize it?
Yes.
Okay, so the lack of motor skills on in some of the students can prevent them from using a touchscreen device independently. And what happens is that when they're little, they put their whole hand in it and they go everywhere, or they log out themselves from the computer or from the iPad or from the phone, and they go, without knowing, they go to somewhere else instead of the actual application that we want them to use.
Young student size can prevent them from reaching the interactive whiteboard top portion, and it's because it's just very high. So for the students to reach the top, it's very hard, or the teacher has to put books or steps, and sometimes it's very difficult, and it's very dangerous because the students can fall, and that will be the teacher's responsibility. So that's one of the cons of some of the technology devices.
So the overlays for the Gold Talks take time to make on the Microsoft Word, like Lou said earlier. So just make sure that if your child changed their mind, to go ahead and start it earlier. As soon as you know they changed their mind. And also they can be expensive. They range from 700 to the thousands. It can be to 4,000. It depends on what kind of the technology you want to own, or the parents want to own for the student. It depends on their individual needs. The talk to text, it's a little more expensive. I believe the cheaper one will be the Go Talk. And please complete the Google form. So you can go ahead and type this, https bit.ly, and it will take you straight to the Google form. Make sure that you answer both questions and take a screenshot and send it to the teacher. One of the questions in there is, what does TAII stand for? And I hope you guys pay attention and know the answer. Thank you so much for watching. And these were our references.